repentance is a gift from God.
Yes.
That when God begins to draw our hearts, it's a gift.
Yes.
It's something that we have to latch on to. And it's not something that you just fabricate on your own. Whenever you begin to turn your heart to God, there is a gift of God that comes upon you that gives you godly sorrow. Sorrow towards God. And sorrow towards God helps to work repentance. And we need sorrow towards God. Because we do not see the things that we're doing as sinful. There's a lot of things that we do that we don't see as sinful, that God sees it differently. And I didn't see how I was living my life as being sinful at all. I mean, I was checking all the boxes, doing all the things leadership wanted me to do from a church standpoint. I prayed. I spent time with my family. I did all the leadership requirements. I did all of that. And I still was not giving God all.
Come on.
I was not giving God all. And when maybe you can go all the way to a Sunday service and you have not connected with God.
Come on.
You have not stood in His presence every single day. How can we say that we love God with all if we do not connect to Him? If we don't get in His presence, if we don't let Him examine this, and then we don't abide in His presence. So emptying out is all about letting Him examine everything and letting Him deal with the things that we have put there. And there are things that fill us with emptiness. They fill us with emptiness.
Right.
You do them and you don't even use your mind. How many of you, can hop on Facebook and scroll, like when you stop scrolling, you just scroll and you keep scrolling and you keep scrolling, and you can just keep doing it, or Twitter or whatever it is, and you don't even know what's going on. You turn your mind off and you just flip and you just go. Now that's not an inherently sinful thing to do, right? Unless it's filling you with emptiness. And it's taking up time that you could have been connected to the one who desires and created you to connect with Him. I mean, the greatest athletes in the world do phenomenal things. You look at some of the things that some of the great athletes in the world, Michael Phelps and others, it's amazing what they do. But as fantastic as some of the feats that are accomplished in athletics, our bodies were not created for that. We were created to worship. We were created in the image of God. We were given our mouth so that we could do something that no other animal could do. We could speak life and death. We could connect with God. He created us in His image so that we could commune with Him, so that we could fellowship with Him, so that we could worship Him. And when we choose to go and fill ourselves with emptiness, it doesn't matter. I am not putting a label on anything, because I promise you, if you will practice the pattern of just connecting with God in fellowship and getting in His presence and making sure you stay there all day, Pastor will never have to tell you what you should or shouldn't do.
Come on. Come on.
There was a time, a long time ago, when I was struggling with my thoughts. I was struggling with my mind. And I began to pray to God, and I began to ask God, I need you to purify my mind. I want my mind to be so pure that your light would shine upon my mind, and it would, so let my eyes be filled with light. These are my words that I pray. Let my eyes be filled with your light so that there's no darkness in me. And in that moment, you may have heard me share this before, but in that moment, there began to be a light that radiated onto my body. And it was so bright and so penetrating that I felt like I was like invisible. The light wasn't just warming my body like when you're out in the sun and you're absorbing the sun. It's just warmness on your body. This light was going through my body. Like I wasn't even there almost. I could feel it, but it was not just warming me, it's going through me. And the light was so pure, so bright, that I'm laying there and I'm scared to death, because I'm literally thinking to myself, if I feel any more of what I'm feeling, I will physically die. And it's the first time there was so much peace. There was so much love. There was so much I've never in my life felt that much God. Ever. And I began to ask God after that. I'm like, God, why? Why can't we always feel that? Because if you felt that much of His love and His presence on you all the time, and you ever did something, looked at something, scrolled into something, and it made the presence go away, you would immediately be like, well, I'm not doing that anymore. Because you lost the presence. Like, God, why can't we always feel it? And he said, because if it was that, there would be no need for faith. There would be no need for you to have faith. But we do that. We fellowship with things. And I'm not putting any labels on anything. I'm just saying we fellowship with things.
Come on.
And we connect to things. And we participate with things that disconnect us from the presence of God and the power of God. And His authority and the dominion and the power that is in us. And it causes us to be defeated. We allow things in our lives that give the enemy advantage over us so that we don't have any authority and any faith and any power and any presence of God to believe that God can do anything. And guess what? If you have a defeated mentality, there could be people that you're supposed to be praying for. There could be backsliders that I don't even have any idea who they are. You're connected to them. I'm not connected to them. If God's going to have me pray for somebody like that, I'm going to have to be praying in tongues because I don't know them, and the Spirit would have to pray and do all of the work because I don't know them. But somebody had to be praying for Saul because Saul was not living a life that was right. You understand that? God didn't strike Saul down on the road to Damascus just randomly because God was just being omnipotent. God has always worked through His people. So somebody was praying. Somebody had a burden to pray for the one that was persecuted. And somebody was loosing the kingdom into this earth so that God could move. And when they finally got it done, God was like, boom, I'm answering that. Strikes him down, and what does He do? He sends him to another man who's praying. It still took a man of God or a woman of God connected to God. And guess what? If somebody had been praying and Saul had never been converted, most of our Bible wouldn't be here today. What kind of sin would that be? If you didn't have all those books of the Bible. But we don't see that. We don't see the times that we're disconnected from God as being so grievous. We don't see the eternity lost, the impact that is lost. We don't see it. We don't grasp it. Eternity lost. There are souls that are lost. just because we chose to be in charge that day. We chose to be in charge of our lives. We chose not to connect with God. We told him, I got this. And we did whatever we wanted to do. We got on our phones. We played games. Whatever